For years, Nigerians have whispered the same dangerous question in living rooms, inside buses, in beer parlors, and behind closed office doors in Abuja: who is really bankrolling the bloodshed? Who is supplying the sophisticated weapons that ordinary criminals should never be able to afford? Who is turning villages in the Middle Belt and the Northwest into battlegrounds while pretending it's just clashes and misunderstandings? Now, a political earthquake is rumbling far beyond our borders, and this one is coming straight out of Washington. In the United States Congress, a powerful piece of legislation known as the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act is making waves. And this is not some symbolic paperwork designed to gather dust. This is a direct spotlight on the dark money pipelines allegedly fueling terror in Nigeria. For the first time at this level, American lawmakers are openly tying violent militias to illegal mining networks, with a sharp focus on foreign operators, particularly Chinese nationals accused of paying armed groups for protection. Let that sink in. According to the sponsors of this bill, Representatives Riley Moore and Chris Smith, illegal mineral extraction is not just an environmental crime, it is a financial engine for extremism. Their argument is explosive: armed militias allegedly provide security for unauthorized mining operations, and in return, they receive large sums of money. That money doesn't disappear. It allegedly transforms into ammunition, advanced weaponry, logistics, and sustained campaigns of violence. For years, analysts inside Nigeria have suspected that the gold in Zamfara, the lithium in remote forests, and other precious resources scattered across vulnerable communities were not just being stolen, they were underwriting chaos. Helicopters flying in suspicious patterns. Armed men guarding excavation sites. Entire villages displaced while mineral deposits quietly changed hands. Now those suspicions are being discussed openly in one of the most powerful legislative chambers in the world. And here's where it gets even more serious. The bill directs the U.S. Secretary of State to determine whether certain militias operating in Nigeria should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations under American law. That label is not cosmetic. Once applied, it triggers a global financial chokehold. Banks freeze accounts. Travel bans activate. International transactions collapse. Anyone, politician, businessman, foreign investor, found materially supporting such a group could face U.S. sanctions. This isn't just about symbolism. It's about access to global systems. It's about who can move money and who suddenly cannot. It's about whose overseas assets get frozen overnight. And as you already know, many powerful individuals do not keep all their wealth within Nigerian borders. If the designation happens, it won't just affect fighters in the forest. It could ripple through boardrooms, embassies, and foreign corporations. The proposed legislation also calls for identifying domestic and foreign networks allegedly providing logistical or financial support. That includes foreign nationals involved in illegal extraction activities. In other words, the focus is not only on the government, it's on the businessmen behind them. And then there's the humanitarian angle. For years, communities in Plateau, Benue, southern Kaduna, and parts of the Northwest have cried out that the violence was not random. Entire farming settlements have been emptied. Churches and mosques attacked. Displacement camps overcrowded. Yet the global response often reduced the crisis to vague, communal tensions. This bill takes a different tone. It pushes for direct humanitarian support to affected regions through trusted non-governmental and faith-based organizations. That detail speaks volumes. It suggests skepticism about traditional aid channels and signals a desire to ensure help reaches actual victims rather than disappearing into bureaucracy. The legislation also proposes deeper counterterrorism cooperation between the United States and Nigeria. That could mean intelligence sharing, technical support, and possibly stronger financial tracking systems. Disarmament programs are mentioned too, though Nigerians know how complicated that conversation has been in the past. But here's the broader picture you shouldn't ignore. From the American perspective, unregulated territories where illegal mining, armed militias, and foreign actors mix freely represent more than a regional problem. They see it as a potential breeding ground for global instability. In Washington's national security framework, resource-fueled extremism in one region can ripple outward. This isn't charity. It's strategic interest. And back home, if this bill gains momentum, reactions in Abuja will be intense. Some will call it interference. Others will quietly welcome external pressure. The mining sector, already controversial, could face renewed scrutiny. The relationship between foreign investors and local security structures may be examined more closely than ever before. What makes this moment different is the narrative shift. The conversation is no longer confined to farmer-herder clashes. It's no longer only about ethnic tension or land disputes. The spotlight is turning toward mineral wealth, illicit revenue streams, and structured financial networks. Gold, lithium, protection money, heavy weapons, political shielding. When you connect those dots, the picture becomes far more complex than the surface explanations we've had for years. And if the foreign terrorist organization designation proceeds, that's a global scarlet letter. It means international isolation. It means global banking systems shut their doors. It means families linked to sanctioned individuals may struggle to access foreign education, investments, or partnerships. It changes reputations overnight. The era of anonymous sponsorship could be approaching its end. Of course, legislation in the US must pass through committees, debates, and votes before becoming law. Nothing is automatic. But the fact that such a proposal is moving forward at all signals a dramatic escalation in international attention. For communities that have endured years of violence, this development feels like validation, acknowledgement that what they described as organized, well-funded operations may have been more than conspiracy talk. For those benefiting from secrecy, it may feel like the walls are closing in. The coming months will be critical. Will the Nigerian government collaborate openly if the bill advances? Will investigations reveal concrete evidence linking illegal extraction to armed financing? Will specific names emerge? Or will diplomacy dilute the impact? One thing is certain, the conversation has shifted onto a global stage. This is no longer just a local security issue buried in regional headlines. It's now part of an international legislative battle involving resource control, counterterrorism policy, and geopolitical strategy. And as this story unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher, not just for politicians or foreign investors, but for ordinary Nigerians who simply want to farm their land, run their businesses, worship in peace, and raise their children without fear. The question that haunted the nation for years, who is funding this, may finally be approaching an answer. But as with every high-level political move, the truth will emerge step by step. Investigations, hearings, designations, sanctions, reactions. The world is watching. And this time, the spotlight isn't dim.